Okay, hello my beautiful people. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Butterfly here. And as you can see, today we have a new face. Okay, not new, you've been here, but like not sitting. So this is my big sister, Salma. Introduce yourself, Annie.
Hi, set apart butterfly family. My name is Salma and Auntie Butterfly's
Big sister. She is a wife and she's a mother. And today we're just having a conversation about life in general. We'll tackle on certain things that have to do with weddings, and then certain things that just have to do with like being a wife and a mom and a career woman and like the whole balance. So I'm gonna ask her a few questions, and right now it's like I wanted to say it's wedding season, but Namibia it's like there's a lot of weddings every single month. So like when I was getting married, I got a lot of like tips and advice from my sister on just what to do and how to plan. So the first question I want to ask her is like, for example, how would you advise someone to have like a stress-free wedding? What do you think they should do?
Stress-free wedding. Okay. Basically, start early. Start early to plan, and you should be honest about what you want, about what you can afford, about your background basically. And by background I just mean like are you, let's say, the first child to get married in your house? Are your parents pensioners? Are they alive? Are they employed? Or they are not? Do you have siblings that are able to assist? So you need to be very honest about your circumstances, and you need to plan based on that. Basically.
Like in my sister's case, she was like the first child getting married at home. So obviously whatever mistakes we're making, we made through her. Like for example, when it was a list of making a list of
yes, the akulupe dress. So since I was the first child to get married at home, I guess my parents were very excited. So there was this whole long list, and trust me, some of those dresses were in the house even after my wedding. And the other thing is also, let's say, things like plates. Like I remember my mom and I had to buy plates basically, like plates, glasses. But then obviously the two weddings that came after me found that there was already some of those things. So those are the practical things that also one have to look at. Like for the first time wedding, a lot of mistakes tend to be made, but we learn as we go.
Considering that you were like a first time person getting married, what advice would you give to someone who is getting married, like who's a person getting married to the house the first time? Number one, in terms of like should I give my parents a cut, like no, let's do like maximum 30 people, or should you just give them the freedom to do whatever they want? And secondly, like there are some parents, like our case was a bit different. Like there are some households where they will be like, no, you must build first before you leave the house or whatever. So in such situations, do you think, okay, should someone already start building? If you know, like maybe I'm a first time child, should I already start building now, or should I ask my parents if I should build? Or like, for someone who's it's gonna be their first wedding in their house, what do you advise? Because obviously things like what do you call it, Ipaterwa, should I already start buying those things early, or like should I just wait and see what my parents say? Or
and that's why I said the moment you and your fiance start talking, or you and your partner start talking about weddings, you should be honest about your circumstances at home. Like you said, in our case, we didn't have to build at home. There was nowhere to build anyways. But now you might be your house set up like you are probably sharing a room with your siblings. Now comes the time of your wedding, you'll need your own space, you'll need to accommodate your friends. Come on, your friends are traveling from different towns, sometimes different countries, so they won't necessarily have anywhere to sleep, especially if also your wedding is from deep in the villages where there are no let's say lodges or accommodation nearby where one can book in. So that's why with all these things, know your circumstances, be honest about your situation. If you need to build, then you need to build. It's things like if you know you don't have, let's say, pots, plates, knives, just those because the thing is, with what I've realized with weddings, we tend to get so much excited and we are more concerned about our looks, my dress, my makeup, my hair, my tent, the food, and then we pay more attention to those things. But remember, leading up to the wedding, there's all these activities. People need to be cooking. Do you have pots at home? Do you have big bowls to even, let's say, clean the vegetables? Do you have knives for, yes, they'll be slaughtering a lot of kettles, but to prepare that meat, do you have those knives?
Things to grill.
Yes, things to grill. So those are, some of those expenses that we tend not to plan for during weddings, because we are just thinking about the main day and how we look. But there's those behind the scenes activities that happen. Let's say when your friends are traveling, yes, some might be able to book in somewhere. Some might be able to travel with tents, but some might not be in that position. So things like mattresses, okay, fine, you have a room, it has a bed, but are you and your friends and your bridesmaids all going to fit on that bed? So those things are what we tend not to plan for, but are very, very crucial. Mattresses and anything else that's required to be used at home. I think the other thing I tend to tell people is also, as much as we are budgeting for the main festivities, have a miscellaneous budget, because a lot of unexpected things can happen around the wedding. For instance, you send, and I think this one is more practical for the male, for the groom, like, okay, you are supposed to pay lobola and the people are supposed to transport the kettle, right, to the bride's house, and then the car that was supposed to go breaks down, or the car that is there doesn't have a trailer. You need to hire a trailer.
There's no petrol in the car.
Or there's no petrol, and yes, someone is willing to transport, but then they don't have petrol. We all know weddings can be very costly. People might be setting up tents. The next thing, they burst the water pipe underground.
That actually happened with us. So my sister was telling us, she was advising my husband, like, no, you need to plan for these things. Like, emergencies can happen, like, and something, a pipe can burst or what. Honestly, the week of our wedding, that, like, when they were trying to put up tent and stuff, and then they burst the pipe at Phil's house, and then, and we were like, it's something that she had told him in advance, that you need to plan for such unexpected things of bursting pipes and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I just say, be honest about your situation. And the reason why I'm even mentioning parents is because obviously we are all from different homes and different backgrounds. Now, if you know that your parents are unemployed, chances are you need to cater for your section and your parents' section, because they are not employed, they are not in a capacity, or they are pensioners, right? Or you just know that you are the only employed child at home, so you don't have a sibling that can even provide cold drinks or contribute towards that. So these are the things you need to consider. And also the person you are marrying, I know sometimes we tend to, there are couples that tend to work together and do everything, we are sharing equal, we are paying all the expenses equal. If we are buying 10 cool drinks at this house, we are buying 10 cool drinks at the other house. And then there's also couples that they tend to do it differently. Everybody caters for your own house. And it doesn't really matter how you do it, as long as the two of you are in agreement. And I think the end goal is that you want, and it won't be 100% equal treatment at every house, but at least you'd want when the bride's family comes to the groom's side, they are served. When the groom's family comes to the bride's side, they are served. However way you and your partner do it, it doesn't really matter, but you want at least there to for your guests to be treated equally. And also obviously to consider that for some the bride might be having an uncle or a sibling that decides, no, I'm taking care of the catering. So you can't necessarily say, no, we are using the same catering person, or we are using the same decor person.
Because yours is kind of being gifted to you.
Yes, yours is kind of being gifted to you. So as long as you and your spouse or your partner discuss these things, you're in agreement, you plan together, you try to accommodate each other, because it would be very unfair to also want a wedding when the other one is saying, oh, but I'm not ready.
Yeah, because sometimes like maybe you are like, I'm a firstborn child in my family, but then the other person maybe is the lastborn child, and he has like all the siblings are working, all the like doesn't even have to worry because a lot of things will be taken care of, and you're just like.
And I think the other thing is also for us young people, yes, marriage is beautiful, marriage is important, and obviously nobody wants to turn down your proposal. Or maybe the person will be like, oh, you don't want that.
Don't want anymore.
Don't want anymore. I'll move on to the one who's ready. But when you bring a wedding to your family, when you tell your family and your parents or your uncles about this wedding, listen to them. Because as much as we and probably I did that as well, like, okay, when my fiance proposed, we already had our plans, like, okay, we want a winter wedding, but now what if the parents are not ready that time that you want? So let's try
and also
to
some maybe you guys live at the village and the parents are like, no, that's a time for plowing season, people will be coming to we are working our fields or whatever,
you know. So we need to, as much as we the young people have our dream weddings, we should also listen to the family and the parents and the adults. And also, as much as also you guys have saved up and you are ready, you don't know what is the status of their pockets unless you already commit and say like, okay, no, it's fine, you guys are saying you are not ready financially, but we will take care of whatever expenses you are
maybe
going to
the
take
house
off.
needs some renovation, we'll do it, or
then
something.
you do that as now the couple that wants to get married. Because remember, you guys might be ready financially, but you are now bringing this financial, I don't want to call it a burden, but the people didn't plan for this, they didn't budget for this, it was not part of their financial plan. It's your life, now your plans is now a bit encroaching on whatever they had planned. So you have to consider, you shouldn't just think about my dress, my decor, my food, my tent. Other people will be spending on your wedding as well.
I actually like that you just mentioned that, because one thing I wanted to talk about that I remember you made advice to me when I was getting married is the importance of having your priority list. Like, what are the things that are kind of like non-negotiables when you're getting married? Like, okay, I really want good pictures or photography. I want decor, or my focus is like food and drink. Some people are like, I don't care about decor. I want my people to eat and to drink. And for me and my sister, both of us were very big on like, people must eat, people must drink. Like, if it must go to waste, let it go to waste. But like, people are traveling from far. You really want to cater for these people. You don't want someone is like, sometimes you're having like a December wedding, it's hot, but like you haven't catered for like ice or just water. Like, people must drink, and you know, all those things. Sometimes when like people come and like social media is like, oh wow, it's wedding of the year, like the thing looks so nice, but your guests are just feeling like, I didn't drink, I didn't eat. So like, there was even a wedding where my friend is telling me they had to drive to the service station to go and eat after the reception because they didn't get food. Now imagine like someone comes all the way from Windhoek, but then now they don't even get to get some food or anything.
And nowadays people are not only traveling from Windhoek, people are traveling from abroad.
Exactly.
And that's why I say, when someone puts in effort to come to your wedding, like, one should really appreciate it, because it takes a lot of time. It's not just about presents. They are taking off from work, they are investing in traveling, and for us the girls, it's the dresses, it's the hair,
makeup,
the nails. So it would be kind to just make sure that at least we are catering for them food wise, and drinks. Like let's try to find a balance. Like everything must be beautiful, but there should be like a balance with the food and the drinks. And also what I was telling my sister, like recently also, like I love how they I'm not really sure, and I haven't attended a hongi. A hongi is the night of the Omaimbilo, the night before the wedding at the bride's house, when the groom also sent like a suitcase. Like I haven't attended many of those, but I love the current trend where the bride's family caters to the people. Yes. So the people are coming the night before, and like there's food and there's drinks and you know, and I think in Oshuambo it's like some people come that day to okupela, you know, to come gift, whether they are bringing cool drinks, some are bringing their kettle, some are bringing money, you know. So it's just nice that like this whole new trend where the people, there's like a dinner, there's food, there's drinks served.
Because people don't just really drop and leave. They actually stay and chat and mingle, and you don't want your able to just be there. And sometimes people actually leave early because they see like, okay, there's nothing happening. But that's also what, like recently. So like recently I was helping a friend, a relative actually plan a wedding, and when we came to the part of drinks, I was like, we need to remember wedding drinks, announcement drinks, and Moko day drinks. Yes. Because now the problem is, okay, you have this budget, you're like this for wedding day drinks, and then which the same thing that happened to my sister. And this is what I'm saying, first weddings you learn these mistakes. My sister's wedding, all the drinks were in one storeroom. Now the day of announcement, people are just taking, like, they're like, yo, there's drinks right there. People are just taking, some even taking takeaways.
In fact, the mistake happened by okay, so for me, I'm very, and I try, and I think for me also that's why maybe my advice would come more from a practical and not from a posh kind of wedding planning. I'm not really, but for me, so I started with my wedding planning. My wedding was, I think, July. Was it July? Yeah. So from February month end, I would be sending money to my mom to the north, and then when they special in Metro, then she will go buy non-perishable goods, whether it's the cool drinks or the mayonnaise and the rice. So I did that because I just felt it would be, you'd feel the burden comes 2 weeks before the wedding, and you have to swipe like a 10,000, a 20,000. But sending that 2,000 monthly or 1,000 or 3,000 there to buy stock, it kind of relieves you, right? And then towards the end, you just now cater for the big thing. So that's what I had done for my wedding. Now the drinks were bought, and then so the Sunday of the announcement, when we went to church, then my cousins, now the protocol that were left, so they prepared the drinks for after church, and we had not communicated. You see, communication is also very important. Having family meetings, who's responsible for this, who's responsible for that, try to include everybody, because that quiet person might have a good idea. So then all the drinks were in the storeroom, and they were sent out for, okay, not basically everything, but let's say things like the appetizers and the 100% juice. You know, those ones are very expensive, and those ones people don't really bring. People will bring the cool drinks, the water and the beer, but things like wines, whiskeys, 100%, those ones few people will bring. Then we ended up, after the announcement, there was no 100% juice, and you know, you have guests that probably don't take cold drinks. Then we had to go back. Now that is money also which was not budgeted for. So it's good to categorize, like, if possible, divide your drinks, like, okay, this is for the announcement Sunday, this is for the day before, the night before the wedding, like when people are just chilling, and then now these are for the main reception. And if you know your parents also, if you know your parents are in no capacity to serve their guests, there is no point of you having a tent with drinks flowing, and your mom, your dad, your auntie, your granny, or whoever is, you know, the owner of the house is having guests in the house. And we've seen it at weddings where they are kulupe, they're in the house, they have the food, yes. But they don't have
or like
anything
meat,
to
because
drink.
people are like slaughtering so much meat, so there's
Yes.
meat, but like what are they
Yes.
drinking?
What are they drinking? So let us include everybody. Like, know your situation and be honest about your situation. And if you know your parents can't afford it, then you need to include them in your budget as well. It's not just about you, because remember, if it wasn't for you and your person getting married, then
There wouldn't be an event in the
there
house.
wouldn't be an event in
They
the
wouldn't
house.
have to have people that they
Yes,
need to
they
cater
wouldn't
for.
have
or
to
something.
slaughter their cows, they wouldn't need to clean their house, and they wouldn't need to incur all these expenses.
And I think this is why the importance of like setting a wedding budget and I guess priority list. Because obviously, if I'm saying like, okay, no, my wedding budget is 100,000 or 150,000, fine, you're including your deco in there and your outfits and looks and stuff. But then you remember, okay, the akulupes, you have to cater for them because they don't pay for their own dresses. And then there's now all of these extra expenses. You also discuss with your parents, like, okay, how much does meme or tate or uncle or auntie have to spend on this? So that, like, just communicate. You guys don't want to get to be resenting each other the day, or like the week of the wedding, because this one feels like, oh, but we've been waiting for you to do this, but I thought you guys are gonna do this, and all those things like that.
Communication is very, very important. Like, everyone needs to be open about their situation, and everyone needs to, you need to be on the same page, basically. You can't just be quiet, especially for the brides and the groom. You can't just be quiet and expect people to assume also that, because you find that there's brides that or grooms that are just quiet, boy, the person can't even afford to buy the food.
Maybe they need assistance.
You
and
need
they're just-
assistance, and then and now people are just planning for their, let's say, section, but you are also here in need, and you don't want those last minute, like, no, the money I had, I used it up at the Omengido. And we hear these stories. We hear these stories like, no, auntie, I only had 2,000 and that's the food I spent for. But you didn't communicate. People just assume because you are quiet, you can afford to take care of your section. So let's communicate. Let's talk with our people. Let's seek advice. And even what you were saying, priority list. Even with the priority list, go out there and shop and ask and seek advice, because there are service providers you can negotiate, or you can ask, where can I get this affordable thing? And you know, like, let's say Chinatown has everything. But now, these people that never go to Chinatown, but then there's just certain things you can really get there practically. So, like, ask, seek advice, talk to the people that, we are not saying tell them your budget, we are not saying tell them where are you buying your dress or your ring, we are not saying reveal things that only you and your fiance should have or should know of. But it's always nice, like, someone might know where you can get a beautiful bouquet at a reasonable price. Someone might know where to get good makeup, because now sometimes you are in Windhoek and now you are now stressed because the makeup artist is from Windhoek, and as much as you can afford them, you can't afford their transport costs. But there might be good makeup artists in the north that are not charging you for transport. So it's always good to ask around people that have been through these things. And we live in a world of social media. I'm sure you can even inbox recently, even inbox on Instagram, Facebook, a bride that recently got married, and some people are really willing to share and to assist. And because some people really don't want others to go through what they've gone through. Like, I've experienced this stress, and this is how you go about it, you know. So don't just be there suffering, sitting alone. No, I want to keep my wedding to myself, or I want it to be a surprise. Like, you can really ask advice. You can, we live in the world of social media, and even these service providers, they are really helpful. Hey, like, they can tell you, like, okay, I might be a photographer, I've seen this makeup artist's work was really, really good. So you can even seek advice from the service providers.
That's actually going to be my next question to you, about what advice you have in terms of like vendors. But then you're already talking about, like, you know, shop around with these things. And this is the thing also, guys, which is why I actually wanted my sister to do this section with her, because she said she comes from a practical point and not like a posh point, because I know her. She's like, it's not someone that follows trends. She's someone that is like, there's life after a wedding. And for me, that's important, because it's like, someone, you want to have a wedding like Selma's wedding, so you decide you're going to take out a whole loan or whatever to have a wedding by Selma's wedding, but you guys' pockets are not the same. Like Selma spending 500,000 on her wedding, maybe it's like pocket change for her, like she can take it out of her bank, but then for you that 500,000 is gonna change your whole life after the wedding. We need to like live like realistically, like practically. No, that's why I was like, for me, things like priority is very important. Know your circumstances, and this is also one thing I wanted her to talk about, which she likes to emphasize on, about people making an effort to your wedding. Like when your friends, what people gift you during the wedding season, like you always say to me about how, one, don't be so like happy, like, oh my gosh, who gave me 5,000, then the other person maybe gave you like 500, and you think like the 500 is lower, but maybe that 500 for that person is coming from like really they had to not even eat that. Okay, maybe that's stretching it, but it's coming from like really little that they had.
Okay, also I was just speaking
about
on
gifting.
Gifting actually comes in many forms. I know sometimes we tend to, with weddings, we think gifting is cows, money, and presents, right? In the boxes and the gift bags, right? But someone's presence to your wedding, to witness it, is a gift. Which should be, so someone's presence to your wedding is actually a gift, because imagine having a wedding where there's no guests,
Exactly.
or just family, like you've invited 200 people and only a handful shows up. So someone's presence is a gift that we should really appreciate. That auntie, that cousin who's making omalodu,
yes,
that is a big deal.
Yeah.
That cousin who's like, I remember now, we had a wedding at home in June, and there was this cousin of mine who was, okay, I guess my mom gave her the responsibility for receiving the gifts, because now, okay, the bride is busy, May Esther, who's also at home, is also busy in another area. You, mom, and I are busy running around, and the rest of the kids in the house are young. But then there was this one cousin of ours, like, she was the one receiving and noting down, like, oh, this Mekulu brought mahango millet, this auntie brought cool dream, that one brought vegetables. So that person's role,
it's actually really important.
It's very, very important. And
so I was just saying, even that cousin, what she was doing, one might not notice her, but it's a very...
I don't even know which cousin she's talking about.
Menelao.
Oh, I didn't even. That's the thing. Like, it's a role that people overlook.
Yes,
but it's actually really important.
It's roles that people overlook, and even the bride or the groom would overlook, because you just remember, that uncle slaughtered for me, that auntie gave me money. Then you forget, like, who was making the omalodu? Who was washing the dishes? Who was looking storage? Who was serving? Like, it's so... I think everyone should really, really be appreciated in a wedding, even though they have not provided in monetary terms.
Yeah, because if they were not there, that specific thing might not be done.
Yes, I might have given you $1,000, but I didn't peel the potatoes. So you used 1,000 to buy the potatoes, but who peeled them? So I think we should really, really appreciate everyone that attends our weddings in whatever form they attend.
Talking about serving, I'm even just thinking like nowadays, a lot of us don't make so many bridesmaids anymore. But like those 3 bridesmaids of yours, they are not able to. One thing that I did at my wedding, where I got people from my uncle organized some people from
that are working in catering. No, that are studying towards catering. So this was like a side hustle for them.
Yes. Yeah. So we got people. So you can find there are people that do like the catering lady that we normally use. Now it's a service that she actually provides. Like she comes with I don't know why it's getting dark.
Her own girls and guys, yeah.
Okay. Where obviously you pay for your catering, but then there's also a fee if you don't have people that are going to cater. And for me, I think that's important because I feel like bridesmaids, they are like your mini bridesmen. They follow you around in the sun. They are also tired. Then you get to the tent and then you must also serve. I don't agree with that. Okay, if you don't, if like really sometimes circumstances mean that you are unable to get anyone else and maybe you can't afford to get people to serve. However, if you can try, even if it's organizing a bunch of cousins, 10 cousins, make them maybe wear like white t-shirts or just look presentable that are going to help serve in your tent. But just also remember, and oh yeah, my sister is like, she's such an advocate for vendors. Like, make sure your vendors are fed. Like that guy who's a security guy who's at the door, who's guarding you guys' stuff and making sure that you guys are safe. Feed him. The photographers, they are standing around, like, give them some drinks, let them serve their food first, and then they can continue with your pictures. Even if the food gets finished, at least they ate. So let's also just remember to cater for our vendors when we are planning our weddings
And the bridesmaids.
and the bride.